Are you ready, yo?
Like your radio, we need you to tune in.
You just don't come out and be like, oh, that's a man, I'm supposed to love him. It's something you're supposed to be shown. Like, a father has a daughter, and that daughter is everything to them. Supposed to be everything to them. So, if I'm going to learn how to love, why not learn from the person that birthed me? Not my mom, not saying that she can't teach me, but my dad is going to teach me what to not accept from men, what to take from men. I probably had to be like 7, 8 years old. I remember living at this house, and I remember him having this girlfriend, and he called my mom and told my mom he was coming to get me. So my mom isn't the type that'd be like, oh, well, you don't do for your kid, you can't see your kid. So I'm sitting at the window, I'm hype. I'm like, yeah, my daddy's coming. It's literally like 11 o'clock at night. I'm still sitting at the window. I fell asleep at the window, waiting, thinking that he was gonna come. So this was like a routine every 2 to 3 years, probably up until I was like 13, 14. At that time, I was old enough to be like, all right, I'm gonna decide whether or not I'm gonna deal with him, not deal with him. I still had this soft spot though, like, oh, that's my daddy, you know, I'm yearning for this daddy-daughter relationship. I want to be a daddy's girl so bad. I see all my friends' fathers around. I see so many of my homegirls who fathers aren't around, but they got good ass stepfathers. But in my mind, I'm like, well, my mom has a husband, but I'm more so relentless. Like, I don't want to be around him because he's not my father. So it went from I'll pop in, stay consistent for probably about 2-3 months. I'll give it a year, the longest, and then I won't see him again for 3 to 4 years. And that continued, even still up until now. I'm about to be 32 this year. And the last time I seen my father was 4 years ago. So by my mom being close with her siblings coming up, I had my uncles and I had my grandfather. And my uncles were my father. So because my dad wasn't around, I drew to them. Like, they protected me. And not on a, oh, if somebody touch you, I'm going to beat him up or I'm going to kill him type thing, because that was possible. But it was, I'll make sure I'm there for you. I'll make sure I fill that void. But I had that, and I still yearned for my father. And that was coming up. That wasn't just something as a kid. That's still just something now as an adult, because my uncles, I'm still close with my uncles. Even my uncle that passed, like, everybody that know me knows that that was my dad. Like, I called him my dad. Even my grandfather showed me that it was okay to be loved. He showed me that it was okay to open that door to letting a man love you. My uncles, they showed me that a little bit, but I also got a little negativity from them because I seen how they treated their women. I wasn't taught by my mother how to love a man. I wasn't taught by my mother how to let a man love me. My mother did a damn good job raising us, but what she put in my head was, don't need a man for nothing. You take care of yourself. You always take care of yourself. So now I got this independent shit drilled in my head. And when it comes time for me to be adult and want to love a man, I don't even know where to start. So the first man I come across that tell me he love me, I'm going to believe him. If me letting him love me means to whip my ass or to be verbal abusive to me, I'm going to accept it. I didn't have that father that's saying, yo, this is not what you get. You get a man who love you. You get a man who going to take care of you. I didn't have that. So I went off of the men that I dated. My son dad, whole relationship was toxic. When I say toxic, I mean toxic. It got physical. It was verbal abuse, all types of things. And in my mind, I thought it was love, because that's what he's telling me. I do this because I love you. We are this way because I love you. And in my mind, I keep replaying, damn, I wonder what my father would say if he knew that it was a man whooping my ass. Or I wonder what my father would say if he knew that I'm going through all this type of hurt from him not being around. And if he just come be around, it'll be better for me. I was 14 when I lost my virginity, right? And he was 21. And the fact that he was 21 sets in my head because he lied about it. And for so long, coming up, I thought that something was wrong with me for a 21-year-old to want me, to want to love on me, to, want to take that sacred moment. And yeah, I lost my virginity to him, but I didn't know he was 21 until after the fact. But before then, it was like, all right, this guy told me he's 17. He told me he turning 18, and he liked me, he loved me. He told me he buy me gifts, he do all this stuff, so he loved me. So yeah, I'm going to give it to him. I'm going to give him this sacred part of me. And now that I get older, I look at it and be like, damn, I wonder if I was taught to let a man, adore me and to worship me and to look at that sacred moment as something so precious. If I would have ever had sex for the first time. And it's like now that me being 14, me having sex for the first time, me finding out that he was 21, it scarred me. But it also, ignited something in me. I had sex at 14, but didn't have sex again until I was 17, 18. And at the time, I started forming into this person of wanting that from men, only sex from men. I wasn't looking for love from them. I wasn't looking for, that feeling of comfort. I was looking for like, all right, well, if I like you, I like you, and I'll just have sex with you. No, I don't look at men and say they're just sexual beings, but I looked at men in a sexual way. I looked at them and was like, well, I see you, I want you, and that's it. So if the love comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And it's in my head because it's like, well, I ain't get love from the man that's supposed to love me, so why the fuck should I want it from these other guys? I'm not going to look for that. Like, I'm going to look for what I feel is good to me. And what's good to me is that I'll have sex with them, and that's about it. So if the love form, it form. If it don't, it don't. I have all these different relationships I've had with men. I have 2 kids and two baby fathers. And it's like, both situations isn't ideal. The situation isn't, oh, well, I loved you, you loved me, we made a kid, we just decided to separate. Them situations both was toxic. And when I see it, I see my mother all over again. And it's like, I see her raise these kids, I see her have kids and see her have different baby fathers, and then I see her say, look, they ain't gonna be there, that's cool, they don't gotta do their part, I'll do it. So now in my mind I'm shaped to, if they don't ever be there, I got it. When that's not even the norm. That's not how it's supposed to be. I've learned that forgiving people has nothing to do with the other person. It has everything to do with you. And if I continue to move on in my life and relationships and dwell on what my dad didn't do and didn't give me, I'll never be able to heal from it. So I wrote a letter, and I just put everything in that letter of what I felt and how I was feeling and the hurt I felt from him not being around and how good of a woman and person I am now. I wrote that letter to him, and it was addressed to him to get some type of closure. So, and at that moment is when I forgave him, because my mom doing it on her own, me becoming a woman and learning through my hurt and my pain, I know what to not accept and what not to settle for. It's a little tricky sometimes because that little love word plays a major part on why a lot of people deal with a lot. But once you learn that regardless of what you think is love, and you learn that your self-love comes first, you'll never be able to settle for whatever somebody else give you that isn't good for you. I closed the chapter. I'm at this point now where I'm okay with not having that relationship with him. I'm content with not having that relationship with him. Because when it all boils down, I have to figure out how I can heal and continue to heal from not having him around.
Yeah.